I bet you never expected to see a hamster discussing curriculum design. Full disclosure, hamsters are homeschooled, so I don't have a lot of experience with curriculum design, but the group has told me that this is very important. Oops, I mean critically important. So, my job is to introduce you to this amazing team. Sandy Coyne, I hope I'm saying that right. Hamsters aren't very good at pronunciation. We'll start off our presentation and address the question, what are some of the common practices in planning curriculum? Next, Lisa Ruch will be discussing the major elements to consider in curriculum planning and design. And last but definitely not least, Lisa Simone will add information about how should curriculum be implemented. Finally, Robin Saunders will be my assistant and will be the voice that you hear next. Robin only lets me be her assistant because she says that I can get too wild. Really? You be the judge. So let's get going and learn about the critical questions in curriculum designs for humans, not hamsters. And that wasn't in the script.
Designing and developing an online course can be a daunting task for instructors. An e-learning curriculum refers to the courses, lessons, learning objectives, and activities that frame the entire online program. It's an all-encompassing term that covers every element of the e-learning design, from the online learner needs and goals to the standards that we all must meet. It takes a great deal of planning, organization, and research to create an effective e-learning curriculum. Here are 3 tips to help you through the process of creating your e-learning curriculum. If we first accept the premise that learning is planned and guided, as described by Smith from fed.org, and we intend to share ideas to help the students understand the important key concept in any academic subject, and we agree with Aristotle that there are 3 ways of separating different areas of knowledge, the theoretical, the productive, and the practical, this might be a good place to start. Aristotle described the idea of understanding the concept and then looking at the concept in a much broader perspective. Finally, he applied what had been discussed. The focus was intentional, and it was used to enhance the learning and move the discussion forward. This concept assumes that learning is the ultimate goal. It is widely understood that instruction, like the lives of the students, exists in a turbulent economic, political, and social context. The pressure for change is constant. Education does not exist in a vacuum. Factors that influence the curriculum flow from institution and are intended to educate students about the real world. Decisions relating to curriculum must originate from what is practical and real. The true value in this design rests in its ability to value these fluid relationships. The goals of the new curriculum are clearly in the Education Scotland framework. It says that the curriculum for excellence aims to enable young people to develop the knowledge, skills, and attributes that will allow them to demonstrate 4 key capacities: to be successful learners, confident learners, responsible citizens, and effective contributors. This simple statement encompasses all of the aspects of curriculum changes for all ages of students. It reinforces the intentionality and real-world applications of the curriculum. This framework emphasizes keeping a step ahead of the current theories. How to best serve our students is always the goal. We need to enhance the curriculum by introducing simple and effective ways to actively support students and increase their activity and self-responsibility. We need to extend the curriculum by increasing activities that facilitate individual and collaborative learning and create assessment mechanisms that increase choice and student control. Finally, we need to empower students by developing levels of engagement that require a higher order of individual and collaborative learning in the real world. The common practices in curriculum plannings will guide us as we get more specific and answer the next question. What are the major elements to consider in curriculum planning and design? There are a number of fundamental questions that help determine the development and implementation of a plan for instruction. Curriculum developers must always be concerned about what should be included in the curriculum and how to present and arrange what is selected. Before you develop your first activity or start looking at the right template, you have to lay the groundwork for your e-learning course design. And before tackling the development of your new curriculum, you need to consider 4 important issues. First, you need to look at the marketplace. Is there a gap in the offerings in the geographical region that your institution serves? Is there an interest in the topic that the curriculum will cover? Next, you need to look at your institutional mission. You need to make sure that your curriculum and content is aligned with the school's overall aims. Next, do you have buy-in from your stakeholders? Because goodwill and commitment is essential for successful curriculum development. And finally, what is the impact for your institution's assessment or accreditation? Do the views of your outside agencies need to be considered? When planning your curriculum, it is important to avoid the field of dreams fallacy. Simply offering a new course does not necessarily mean that if you build it, they will come, and student enrollment in courses may not be large enough to adequately support it. The existing offerings of nearby institutions and those farther afield that are comparable should be looked at in order to avoid overlap that could lead to market saturation. After considering what you will offer, it's advisable to look at how the proposed curriculum will tie in with the institution's mission and goals. For example, if the institution has a history of training for professions, future careers should be tied in the form of internship opportunities, certificates, and the like. If the institution serves a specific population, how will the proposed curriculum address the needs of that specific group? Curriculum planning should not be done in a vacuum. Other stakeholders need to be considered. Who has the final voice in the approval process? Is it the upper administration? Is it the trustees? Or maybe even the chancellor? Their questions and concerns should be anticipated and addressed. Similarly, the faculty should be involved, as they are far more likely to champion the new material if their voices were heard from the very beginning. If other experts beyond the faculty would be helpful, pull them in on the planning stage as well. And finally, it's essential to plan how the new curriculum will be assessed from the very beginning. This helps to streamline the outcomes intentionally. These outcomes may tie into the institution's accreditor or additional accreditation or licensure in certain fields. It's far better to anticipate all of the ramifications than it is to retrofit at a later stage. Now that we have given you some of the guidelines for some of the common practices in planning curriculum and have discussed what elements contribute to effective design of curriculum, remember that development of a strategic e-learning curriculum is one thing. Successful e-learning implementation is another. How should curriculum be implemented? Implementing any type of e-learning curriculum can appear daunting, no matter what size the organization. In making this decision, we need to consider some basic organizational and change management principles. We know that implementing the curriculum does not just focus on the actual use, but also on the attitudes of those who help with the implementation. There is no step-by-step approach. Rather, implementation is unique to specific schools and the individual characteristics among the stakeholders. Effective communication is a must, as it is central to any curricular movement because there are many stakeholders directly involved with the implementation in the classroom. We need to ask the following questions. Are the stakeholders willing to change? Individual interests vary, and implementation of change requires teamwork and teacher collaboration. Will the new curriculum be effective? And will a curriculum change produce the results that we felt were previously unattainable? How will the curriculum be assessed? And what constitutes a high-quality curriculum? Will we create an assessment process that is comprehensive, making sure that the curriculum is able to prepare students to be college or career ready and participate as productive members of their communities in a global environment? Is there proof of the program's accountability and true value as an educational model? These are all questions that need to be answered before implementation. How the curriculum will be implemented is the first challenge. There are countless implementation strategies in every curriculum delivery, and it primarily depends on the type of content being presented, combined with the expertise of the instructor and the platform for the classroom. Is this course online or on ground? According to an article published by the Paper Masters on Educational Strategies in 2019, awareness of these various educational strategies and how they will be implemented can enable teachers to create the best possible learning environment for their students. Content delivery is the next challenge. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Education published an article about the use of technology in teaching and learning, in which they stated, online learning and the use of open educational resources and other technologies can increase educational productivity by accelerating the rate of learning, reducing costs associated with instructional materials or program delivery, and better utilizing teacher time. Current research has confirmed this, and recently instructional designers have been using the ADDIE model, which gets its name from the 5 phases identified in the model: analysis, design, develop, implementation, and evaluation. This helps to create courses with the type of content described in the use of technology article. When you look at content delivery, it's important to remember that there are many content types. However, all content must be learner-centered, which means it's relevant and specific to the learner's needs, roles, responsibilities in their professional life. It must be engaging, which is content that's used creatively to develop an engaging and motivating learning experience. And the content needs to be interactive, which will sustain the learner's attention and promote learning. And finally, the learning must be personalized so that it's customizable to reflect the learner's interests and needs. Now that we've described buy-in, implementation, and described the delivery of content, we need to talk about fidelity. Curriculum fidelity can be defined as the degree to which teachers or stakeholders abide in a curriculum's original design when implementing it. Even though no clear position has been determined as to whether teachers abiding strictly by the designed curriculum is beneficial or not, it is argued in the related literature that by determining fidelity of implementation, it's possible to explain the reasons for success or failure of curriculum innovations, and to specify the changes in the curriculum and their outcomes. To promote fidelity of use, we need to identify the topics or subjects that need more focus. We need to evaluate student engagement, the program specificity, adherence to the original, the exposure of students to intervention, and finally, the quality of the delivery. Curriculum can only be effectively implemented once all of the teacher's concerns have been addressed. Lastly, I want to mention that all of the assignments in the new curriculum should be both integral to the course experience and provide opportunities for the students to articulate and demonstrate how they think about the topics that are being presented. I hope that you've enjoyed this discussion on the critical questions that you need to answer before implementing curriculum changes. Thank you for listening, and make sure that you have a specific educational purpose in mind, because we all know that the ultimate goal is to improve students' learning. Oh, and one more thing. Here are some questions to ponder as you think about designing curriculum.
Well, I'm back, and I hope you feel just a little bit smarter having watched our presentation. Anyway, Lisa Ruch, and I'm so sorry I mispronounced her name before, but as you know, hamsters are bad at pronunciation, has inspired me to look to another level. And I think she would appreciate this final quote from Socrates, and that's, "Let the questions be the curriculum." See you later, alligator!